Willie D. Live.
What's up, family? The Supreme Court ruled 6-3 to uphold birthright citizenship. And Donald Trump, your president, is not a happy camper. I ain't got no problem with that, but some of y'all do, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, fam. So the word on the street is Trump is talking about banning immigration for the next 50 years. Yeah, they want to halt to immigration for the next 50 years. Now, you know America can't do that. America is too reliant on foreigners for help, for all types of things. And when they're done with them, they want to ship them back, get them on out of the way. After they serve them, it's like, okay, now y'all gone back where you come from. Y'all hurting our country. You make us look bad. Yeah, fam. These MAGA people are talking about they need to put a ban on student visas, work visas, and tourist visas. First and foremost, fam, it's too much money involved. It's too much money involved. It's too many people patting their pockets. Hell, I think somebody was saying they were selling these visas for big, big money, like in the millions, since certain people got in office. Yeah. So if they're selling these visas for millions and people, I'm talking about the quick track visas where, you just come in, you pay your money, boom, you in, you're a citizen just like that, citizenship for sale. Yeah. The only thing, I won't say the only thing, but one of the issues that I really do have with this is women who will use the tourist visa to come over here and they're pregnant and they're just using it so that their children can be born a U.S. citizen. They might come over here when they're 7 or 8 months pregnant, have the baby, and boom, now their child is a U.S. citizen, and then they try to gain citizenship through their child in some type of way. There's supposed to be a crackdown on that, but they're not doing a good job. But they're also supposed to be cracking down on drugs. They haven't done a good job cracking down on drugs. Y'all remember that, fam? Remember Say No? Say No to Drugs? What was it? Just Say No. Yeah, that's it. Remember Just Say No was it Nancy Reagan? Yeah, Nancy Reagan. Just say no. Just say no. It's just that simple. Just say no. All the while, her husband is involved in dealing drugs. That's right, I said it. They're involved in the whole Iran Contra, all that kind of stuff, man. Yeah. I say contraband, but Iran, what do they call it? Iran Contra. Who remembers the Iran Contra, where Reagan officials were sending weapons over to Iran and, having them to do their dirty work and all that kind of stuff? It was a big old scandal behind it. A lot of people ended up dead. But yeah, they always had their hands, in the pot. It was his administration who, they were talking about a war on drugs, while at the same time they're basically dealing drugs. Yeah. They're allowing the drugs to come over, and then they'll make one big bust every now and then and put it everywhere, and they show all the drugs and they take pictures standing next to the drug dealers and all this kind of stuff. Look what we did. Look how we're keeping you safe. And meanwhile, the use of drugs in the United States continue to skyrocket. It don't make sense, but the American public, so many people in America, they're so damn slow. They'll believe anything they hear. Anything they see coming from mainstream media, they believe it. Some of them won't even, if I can come on with a story right now, man, and I can be the source, they wouldn't believe it. Well, I got to see what such and such say first. I haven't seen it on any major news channels. Like the major news channels can be trusted. I can't remember what story was that. I had a story, and So I had a story from Trey Reed's mother. I talked to her directly, had all the information, and I shared it, with her approval. I shared that information, and somebody was like, well, how we know she said that? How we know that's true? Woo, 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 woo. But if ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, Fox, CNN would have ran with the story, they would have believed it out the gate. They wouldn't have even questioned it. That is how brainwashed Americans are. Most Americans do not think for themselves. They regurgitate political talking points, political analysts and pundits and reporters and commentators' talking points. That's why if you go into the comment section on any of these blog posts, any of these platforms, you can read the comments and you can tell that everybody watched the same channel. Not everybody, but you can tell, like, a lot of these people, their comments all they sound the same. No matter what the subject is, they'll have about 4 or 5 different talking points, and everybody use those same talking points. Well, most people. They don't think for themselves. They have no critical thinking skills whatsoever. But then they want to come over here and get mad because I will go against the grain. If I go against the grain, they say, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, what do y'all think about this, fam? How successful do you think that Trump would actually be in putting basically a 50-year blockade on immigration? 50 years? That ain't gonna last. It won't last 5 months because they're gonna take the money. They are going to take the money every single time. They're taking the money, man. Yeah, can't last. Student visas, it's not gonna stop. First of all, a lot of the universities, they need foreigners right now because attendance is going down, because a lot of Americans are realizing that these degrees that they have are useless. So they're not reporting that part. A lot of people in the US are not even going to college now. Majority of people in the US that go to college, that attend college, are still US citizens, but there's a large number of foreigners enrolled in American universities. So they need those foreigners to come over here. They need that. And they also need immigrants to come over here to work cheaper. That's right, I said it. To work cheaper. I heard that the Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, I heard that he got all kinds of immigrants over there working. Yeah. I bet you ICE don't put them in jail. Can't do that. Go over there and they might not even be getting paid and can't quit. Trump probably got them all living in one house. It might be good 40 of them living in 1-bedroom house. Trump, he that type. He's the type to do something like that. Just put him on there. Hey, you either work or you go to jail. I can see him doing it. Yeah, fam, this whole thing about taking visas away and stopping visas, blocking people from coming here. America is compromised. It was compromised from day one. America loves to bring foreigners over here by force or choice, get them to do the work, low ball or no ball, and then point the finger at them for its misery. Do you know the majority of, if you compare foreigners or even illegal immigrants, if you compare illegal immigrants to Americans, that Americans commit more crime on average than illegal immigrants, but they go crazy when an illegal immigrant commits a crime. And that number is that that number ain't even remotely close to the number of Americans who commit crimes on it. Americans are far more dangerous than immigrants are to Americans. Americans are far more dangerous to Americans than immigrants are to Americans. That's why I'm not tripping on this thing with Iran or nobody else. I'm likely, if I were to get killed, I would be more likely to get killed by an American than anybody. You too. You too. And you and you and you. All y'all. Yeah. Like if I get robbed, I'm more likely to get robbed by an American. Yeah. Get something stolen from an American. The courts are filled with Americans, not immigrants. You want to see a court filled with immigrants, you got to go to ICE detention or something, or one of those, what they call those, immigration courts or something. You got to go there. You're not going to see a courtroom full of immigrants at regular courthouse because they're not committing crimes like Americans are. They want us to think that the immigrants are the problem. Don't get me wrong, there is a problem with illegal immigration, but if you're going to stop it, go ahead and stop it. Stop playing games, because we know y'all taking money at the border. We know y'all taking money to look the other way. Just like the drugs get over here, the people come over here. And they all get over here because somebody on the other side, somebody on American soil is getting paid. Everything, if you look at every single thing in this country that is wrong with this country, there's a gatekeeper who is making sure that that happens, that that continues to happen. And the gatekeeper has perfected the art of pointing the finger at someone else. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.